Welcome back to the channel, guys. Rafael Flatplane back here with another one. So I want to talk about weather manipulation or weather modification, however you want to put it or say it. Now, we've discovered throughout the years how the government has been lending their hand and modifying or manipulating the weather. Now, we know government companies or agencies like HARP who've openly admitted to things of cloud seeding and weather manipulation. We know NASA can themselves manipulate the weather. Now, this video came out about 6 years ago, and in the video, they're going to talk about weather modification and how they've been doing it with lasers and things of that sort. And now, in the midst of the wildfires, I would ask, if all these fires are spreading, how come they aren't quote unquote manipulating the weather to save all those millions of acres that have burned down? But let's just get a backstory of what this is.
Seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion,
No.
though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental, however...
Now they say it's experimental. Now I know this is 6 years ago and technology has been, on the rise. But what if this is part of their failed technology and that they're doing over California and they're starting wildfires by this? But then they're trying to blame it on other things. That's just to keep in mind.
However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electron.
Now, by them firing the lasers, they're altering the frequency basically of the Earth. And the Earth vibrates at a certain frequency that us humans need. Now that by them doing that, they can start changing us. And that can start affecting us in many ways. And I know I'm digging deep here, and this is for my deep thinkers. Any altering in the frequency of our body can change our state and can actually make us sicker. But that's just food for thought.
Creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work?
And this is technology that they've been using for years. And we wonder how come for the last, 60 years, we've been getting so many intense hurricanes, intense rainfalls, floods.
Work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong.
So if they did it in the 60s to bring down monsoons, what if they want to clear out real estate to build what they want? What if they want to clear out a certain population of people? I think we saw that with Katrina.
Governments have been playing with this thing. Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, realize that for
Of course, they got to say the alleged to, the quote-unquote disclaimer for them.
decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands.
It's been conclusive. You just admitted to it back in the 60s and then try to spin the alleged. No, it hasn't been alleged. It is what it is. Now, this is a video by BBC and I put it on speed mode, so hopefully I don't get any copyrights or anything. But this is NASA making rain.
Is the shuttle's fuel tank.
And how come they haven't done it for California?
But to cover that distance, the engines will use 500,000 gallons of fuel, and that works out at 2 feet to the gallon. They installed was a huge loudspeaker, through which they played one. They then sent a number of trucks in different directions out into the wilderness, and the drivers were ordered to stop when the noise levels became acceptable. This gave them an imaginary boundary line, and anyone living on the inside of it was offered a simple choice. Stay, and you'll never hear another television program as long as you live. Or take the NASA shilling and get out. No one stayed, because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead. I couldn't even hear myself conceive, and as it turns out, the cleanest.
These are the clouds that NASA makes.
Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable.
And they couldn't do that for California? They couldn't help out California with this? Our great government couldn't do this? But remember, he also said that they're shooting laser beams. Now, I showed in the video. Now, I'm not saying this is what it is, but it could be, who knows? I don't know. I don't know the truth on this. But they say they fire laser beams into the sky. What if it's reflecting back down and now causing what I showed here? What I showed here from YouTuber Dutch Sense that he found. What if that laser beam is refracting back and causing these fires because of their experiments? Now, I want to speak on Hurricane Sally. Now, the trajectory of Hurricane Sally is coming up from the Bahamas to the Gulf and then taking a sharp turn back inland. Now, as we can see how it's going here, like I said, coming off the Gulf, coming from the Bahamas, and then making a sharp turn. Hurricane Sally started out in the Bahamas, right? See the trajectory here, in the Bahamas, coming up, and then taking a sharp right turn. What's making it take a sharp right turn? Why? Why can't that come up here and keep going? Now, I know I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm showing you their weather modification and manipulation. They keep bringing up these storms up through here and then shooting it up while wildfires are going out here. We always have a wildfire and then have a hurricane at the same time. They manipulate the weather. This is the fire here. All this heat. And then the hurricane just takes a sharp right. Now, we know NASA has been cloud seeding for a long time. When you look up and you see a long trail of white, looking like white smoke from a plane, that's chemtrails. That's stratospheric aerosol injections full of metals and other different toxics. And that also rains down on us. But if the government cares for us, why aren't they making that rain in California? Why are they putting out the firefighters to endanger themselves? They should be able to control the perimeter while the planes fly over. Now, I know I went out on a little limb here today, but just food for thought. I'm going to keep this on a quick one. Shout out to my TrueTube family. I always give my TrueTube family a shout out. Peace and much love, family. Catch you guys on the flip side.